Hi everyone, it's Sharon, and it's World Suicide Prevention Day. And as a survivor myself, twice just for the record, um, I know there's going to be a lot of social media out there, and I think there's going to be a lot of folks posting stuff and different supports and resources, and that's wonderful. But what I'm actually going to do as a survivor today, and as somebody with multiple diagnoses and far too many decades of lived experience in mental health, is I'm actually putting out a challenge to you, especially those of you who are decision makers in terms of your workplace health and safety and your mental health programming, EAPs, that kind of stuff. Anybody that's a decision maker. What I'm asking you to do is to think about what you've been doing. Do you do an annual program and you bring in a speaker, you bring in some folks with some HR background, and you talk about mental health? And then, you go off and you tell them about, well, there's maybe an EAP or there's this and that. And gee, as long as everybody's doing yoga and eating right and going for a walk, it's all good. As somebody that's survived my own brain now to the age of 53, thank you for starting the conversation, but you're not in deep enough. I know I get a lot of looks from folks about the fact is, why is a former health minister, a woman with a PhD, why do I sit in a room like this that is loaded up with a whole bunch of geek stuff related to the Marvel universe, to BTS, and why do I use that in talking about mental health? Because I can tell you that in the decades that I spent in treatment, I had a lot of really good information given to me really poorly. And what I've done with my programs is I found ways of relating to folks. Now, I get that a lot of folks in my demographic don't always get it. And they would feel much more comfortable with somebody in a suit and tie that's, using the national standards and protocols and coming in and giving them something nice, neat, and tied up in a bow. I'm telling you, you can get that same content, but you can do it in a way that relates to people better. I'm actually finding that the folks that relate most to the way I speak and they're most open-minded to it are those in their 20s and 30s. I work with kids and they love it too. But what I'm asking you to do, because we use this phrase so much in business, is think outside the box. And I hate to say it, but when it comes to mental health, what happens is we will think outside a particular box only to get locked into another one, another stigmatizing box. And so one of the issues that I actually encounter is, frankly, the stigma around fandom. Well, I can tell you something. First of all, I don't give a flying rat's butt if you don't like my fandoms. That's not my issue, but what I can tell you is my fandoms have saved my life and they've saved other people's lives. And so what I'm asking folks to do, the challenge I'm putting out there, and I don't mean to sound so aggressive on a day like today, but it's what needs to be done to save lives, is suicide prevention starts with life promotion. And those of us that have been at that place where we lose that sense of having a willingness to live need to have ways that we're communicated with that tap into our passions. And what I have found is that the language, especially of these two fandoms, starts safe, progressive, and necessary conversations that empower people. So my challenge to you today is, if you're in one of those decision-making roles and you really want to make an impact and you really want to change the culture and help save lives and build mentally healthy environments in your workplace, in your community, I'm going to ask you to step out of not just that one box, but the second box. Bring in someone like myself that's got lived experience, that has fought literally their own brain and can give you a tour of a brain in both a healthy and a not so healthy pre-suicidal place. Somebody that's got the training, and that's somebody that's willing to do the kinds of things that I do, which is use language that connects with people. So I ask you to find ways of helping the people that you know and love, whether they are your staff, your team, people that you work with. Help them embrace their superpowers, help them become bulletproof to stigma. So my challenge to you on Suicide Prevention Day is find ways that engage, that do more than just here's our annual once off and here's our holding pattern. I actively challenge you to find ways of looking at mental health differently. And if you're interested in learning more about those ways, please contact me. I can share with you ways that connect and resonate with folks, because I know what it's like to lose the will to live. And I know how to connect through peer support and other tools, and through fandoms, in a way that will actually engage people, help us to be better in supporting others, and helping us to better literally survive our own brains. So for Suicide Prevention Day, I ask you to reevaluate what you've been doing and consider stepping up to a life promotion perspective that will help all of us have hope and be able to move forward in those times when we think we have lost hope. So, to my fellow survivors, it's another year we've made it, but at the same time, there is so much more work to be done. Take care. Bye-bye.